Hello and welcome to the next instalment of the Cricket Field End podcast with Pete and Dan. It's been a little while since we've done one, a little bit due to sort of a bit of everything really, Christmas and New Year period. We were all busy drinking and trying to drown our sorrows from some of the heavy defeats, and we've got quite a bit to squeeze into this one tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one, so sit tight and get ready.
Right, plenty to squeeze into that, and we've about 15 games to try and cram in talking about tonight for one reason or another.
Yeah, October until January, I'm guessing.
Yeah, like I said, I think with technical issues of the last recording not quite going to plan, and Christmas and New Year, it was a bit of a tough one trying to fit one in, wasn't it? But let's head right the way back to the City and Chelsea games.
Yeah, two massive defeats. Really, 5-0 and 4-0 retrospectively. You expect it against the big clubs, of course you do, but we didn't really give a good account of ourselves. In them games, the team just didn't look bothered.
I think with the City one, a couple of decisions there what will go against you. The one with the ball going out of play and
2 minutes in, Vincent Kompany.
Yeah, stuff like that. You think, I think Kompany's got away with a couple. There was that one against Lennon where 89 other minutes of that game, it's a red card. So why is it not a red card in the first minute? And we saw something similar with the one that again the Salah against Liverpool incident. There's a couple there that he probably he's lucky to get away with.
There was also the other goal that went out of play and came back.
That's it. Sort of decisions like that. You hope that VAR is going to come in next season and eliminate some of these incidents. I don't think we're going to personally gain a huge deal out of it. I think what it's going to do, personally, I might be wrong in saying this, but I think it's probably going to cause more disruption to the Big Six getting the decisions as opposed to giving any more to the other 14 clubs personally. But maybe that's a cynical view on it, but we'll see.
So them two defeats then followed with a third, and that was away at West Ham.
Yeah, again, strange one. You think sort of you fight back to two apiece. Not a great deal of the game left. You think, right, let's see it out, two apiece. Great point away from home, and sloppy defending, silly mistakes, and Taki had a shocking game that day. I think Arnautovic were giving him nightmares for the duration of that game. And
yeah, that first goal, I think it just really set the mood, didn't it, for the day?
Set the tone, didn't it? Absolutely. You sort of have a 5-0, a 4-0 and a 4-2 in three successive games, and head to Leicester for a nil apiece.
Yeah, a good point. We were on form. Leicester have had a tough week at the time with the loss of the chairman. It was
probably a fair result on the day.
Fair result on the day as well. There was nothing really clear cut.
I think circumstances.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound really critical. I don't want it to, but I think circumstances dictated that day that there was other things which proved it was far more important than football. Which
of course
it goes without saying.
Of course it is.
But we'll you take a point at somewhere like that, respectively, whatever the circumstances.
Of course you do. And we take that point back to Turf Moor and Newcastle, and unfortunately back to square one again.
Yeah,
2-1 loss.
Disappointing. You go back with a bit of optimism, thinking we've gone back to basics. Have we now turned a corner? But sadly we hadn't. We lost against a team that he's going to be down that bottom end with us come the end of the season. Let's not make any bones about it. It's going to be a battle, between about 5 or 6 clubs for the three, bottom slots, if you will. But you go from the Newcastle game where you think, right, let's put it behind us, head to Palace, and just didn't even turn up. It's
absolute shambles down at Palace.
we don't get me wrong, world different towns, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was.
You don't save goals like that.
You don't save those.
But again, just another lacklustre performance, and you sit there on the back of what we're talking, defeats City, Chelsea, West Ham, Newcastle, Palace. 5 defeats out of 6 games, and you think, yeah, great, Liverpool at home. And the way that we're playing, you thought, how many are they going to score here? Is it going to be 5, 6, 7? You look at their front three and you think, it's frightening, is this? But what a difference. We got beat, but what a performance.
We went 1-0 up as well. Went 1-0 up, and all of a sudden, as soon as they pretty much equalised, once again the floodgates opened and another 2 came in for Liverpool after that.
But the battle, the improvement in the mentality, the desire, the
It
will
was similar
to
to
want
West
to win.
Ham, wasn't it? Though, really, I mean, they lost. It's quite close to the end of the game, and once again the two goals.
2 sucker punches. I think it was. I think a point would have been deserved. I mean, Liverpool have. They've done well this season so far, and to be quite frank, I hope it stops because I don't want them winning the league. I don't want anybody winning the league, but just certainly not Liverpool. But the battle, the desire for everybody, flying into challenges, exactly what we want to see. We're a working class town. We want to see the people of this football club, whether it's Daesh, the players, his staff, the tea lady. We want to see a bit of passion in all of them. That's all we ask for is a working class town. You want a working class attitude. Roll your sleeves up. Get your shorts dirty. Put a shift in. Excuse the additional sounds from the background if you're in my phone. Pick up some additional noises there. So apologies on that. But that's all we ask is a bit of fight, and I think we certainly saw it against Liverpool there.
Yeah, I mean that. To be fair, there was a lot of optimism from the fans after that result. We obviously thought. That's the Burnley of last season, the Burnley that had that run of good results and were, hoping to take that fight on, and we did. Brighton at home the next game, a nice 1-0 win. I mean, both teams were fighting for the points, like you stated earlier. We were. Both teams are in that battle. Both teams are going to be there and thereabouts at the end of the season. But we grinded it out and we got 3 points.
I think the thing is, with Brighton, they sort of they're slightly above that bottom collection of teams, maybe scrapping, but could quite easily get dragged back into it again, really easily. It only takes a couple of results. I mean, you've seen teams where, you get off to what you think's a decent start and soon get sucked back in, and you see teams start seasons and struggle. Pick up points and suddenly finish comfortably mid-table. It does happen. I think the likes of Brighton, Bournemouth, they could be the teams that I don't think they'll go down, but I think they could certainly get dragged in if they're not careful.
Yeah, definitely.
You only ever sort of 2, 3, 4 bad results away from suddenly being sucked right back in again.
Of course it does. I mean, plus if you look at the runs that teams have got, especially when it comes to the business end of the season, especially if those teams are playing some of the big guns. And then big guns are still in it for a title fight and it's close. Teams like Brighton, Newcastle,
Look at our last 4 games.
Well, yeah.
Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Everton, all the last 4 games. I don't think you could ask for much worse a running, but you'd like to think that, if them are the kind of team you're playing at the business end of the season, that it would mean that sort of through January, February, March time, you've maybe got some of the teams around you, by which point, might be a little bit nearer safety.
Yeah, so from then, Spurs away, saw that fight that we saw against Liverpool again.
We did. A 91st minute goal, and for all Spurs,
absolute sucker punch.
Well, I think all that sort of fancy playing. They do play some good stuff to Spurs. They have played some good football this season. It was a long punt from Lloris, a flick on, touchdown and score, which that was the worst bit to take. That, but defended so fantastically well.
We've done that a lot though, haven't we? Conceded from those kind of positions.
A Burnley kind of goal.
Yeah,
a long punt, a knockdown, a touching and stick it away. But tough to take was that. 91st minute. You think we've defended so fantastically well. See it out for a point. Is another point on the board, and you start to move in the right direction. With certainly an improved performance against Liverpool, the win against Brighton, you think, we'll take a point there, but 91st minute, it's a kick it Nancy's that.
It works, especially when you've kept a lot of their big players quiet during the game as well. I mean, Harry Kane barely had a sniff at goal.
Nothing.
There was just nothing. We did really well, but then, like you say, people thought from that result Burnley are going to bounce back. It's only Arsenal away next. Say that loosely.
Yeah,
I mean, another 3-1 defeat.
But again, it wasn't a performance that I think warranted a 3-1.
It was a typical Burnley Arsenal game, covered in controversy.
Yeah, there was incidents certainly with Vidra was ruled to be offside when he was about 3 yards onside. was it Awobi who was stood offside,
Yeah,
given
I think so,
onside, and he scores, and you think
His last goal as well was against us.
Yeah. So you think yeah. Yet again, it's more controversy against Arsenal. I'm just hoping that come the home game when we play them, towards the end of the season, that they're not fighting for something and we can maybe get one back over on them again. But it certainly wasn't a 3-1 defeat. The late goal, I think, flattered them a little bit. Did we show enough? Probably, certainly not first half. Second half, there was a bit more bite. I think Barnes. For some, some were saying Barnes could have been sent off. I think for me, Barnes showed exactly what we're about. The fight and a dogged attitude and
His passion, doesn't it?
Of course he does. And that's all you ask. I certainly don't think Arsenal away was a 3-1 defeat by any stretch. I think that certainly made it look a little bit glossier than it were, to be honest.
Definitely. But then we had the game. Everyone's had a really good Christmas. Everyone's had a really good time. Everton on Boxing Day. Yeah, come on. This is a team we should get something against. Everyone's nursing hangovers. I think so with the players. What a defeat.
It wasn't so much the scoreline what did it for me. It was the
performance.
Performance, and it's not often I've come off the turf feeling disgusted, but that was one of them. Everton supporting friend of mine, I'll give Keith a shout out. I was talking to him before the game, and he said you'll absolutely walk through our midfield. He said we're in absolute shambles. He said
I took Paul on, my stepdad, because we being an Everton fan, took him on, and he even said both teams have got probably two of the leakiest defences in Premier League.
Yeah.
You'll easily walk through them both, and well, it showed. Whose defence was the most of the leakiest? Wasn't it?
It was saying his midfield. He felt Everton's midfield was weak, and you look at some of the players they've got there, like Idrissa Gana Gueye and Gomez from
playing.
Yeah, and you think these are fantastic players. Why have they been sporting about that? We're going to waltz through them, and Christ Almighty, that was just. I don't know how we scored one, to be honest, because we didn't deserve it. We really didn't. I think throughout those 10, 11 games that we've mentioned there, I think every week there's been criticism of Joe Hart in there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I struggle with this one because I do rate Joe Hart. I think anybody who doesn't rate him as a goalkeeper needs to sit down and look at what he has done through his career. You don't become a 2-time Premier League winner, a 4-time Golden Glove winner. You don't have 78 caps for England through being a second-rate keeper.
No.
The problem that I've got is whoever came in, whether it was Joe Hart, whether it was another keeper, about 75% of Burnley fans, it wasn't Tom Heaton, it wasn't Nick Pope. What are you supposed to do? Neither of them were fit.
No,
let's be honest. After the Aberdeen game, we were left with Anders Lindegaard.
A lot of people said Lindegaard did well. Why not give him more of a chance? Why not?
He got injured.
Yeah,
he picked up an injury.
Yeah, he did.
We were left with Adam Leggins. So what we're supposed to do? Have one fit goalkeeper, the reserve keeper or the under 23s, under 18s, whatever. They're not ready to step up. Conor Mitchell was on loan. Was it up in Scotland somewhere?
Yeah. We've just sent out that George McMahon to, I think it's Ashton.
Yeah. So you think we had one fit senior goalkeeper who had been nowhere near the first team. No. And nothing against the lad. He's coming knowing full well that he isn't going to be challenging, but he's there as numbers. But what we're supposed to do, a keeper of Joe Hart's quality comes up, are we supposed to turn the opportunity down just because some people don't rate him because he's not Tom Heaton or Nick Pope? He's had a hard deal, and I think anybody who came into that side, we're always going to have a bit of a tough do winning over a chunk of the fans. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure we're going to touch on the 3 or 4 games since Heaton's come back in. Heaton was always going to prove a point if Heaton was given the chance to come back in.
Of course he was, yeah.
He was going to grab that by the nads and take that opportunity to prove a point because
he's got 2 top quality goalkeepers to try and keep out. There's only one goalkeeping position. At the end of the day, there's another 10 outfield. You look at Hendrick. He gets shoved around. Another one that gets gets the flag, but he gets shoved around in different positions. But as a goalkeeper, there's just one of you, and you've got 3 to fight against.
For me now, it's Heaton's to lose.
Yeah.
And I know it's easy to say because if he hadn't got injured against Palace last season, would Pope have had a look in? No, not a chance. Heaton had been at World Cup, and there's every chance that Heaton would have been pushing to be England's number one at World Cup. And I genuinely do think that he would have been pushing Pickford for that number one. And it's not just a Burnley bias thing. I genuinely do think that Heaton was playing that well. I think he would have been. It's no coincidence that Southgate's already been back looking at Heaton again. I think he fully deserves it. I probably have one or two debates with a few fellow Burnley fans on either the Cricket Field end page or my own personal Facebook and Twitter pages. I really rate Tom Heaton. He's by far the best keeper that we've had here in my generation. By a country mile. Goes without saying. I do think Joe Hart has had probably too much and a lot of unnecessary criticism. He's had 2 indifferent years at West Ham on loan, Torino on loan. He's not hugely done anything particularly wrong since being here. And
no, for me though, that Everton result, I saw cracks. That's where I started to see flaws in Joe Hart's game personally. Now I do rate him, but I think in that Everton game there was a lot of flaws that I saw to that. And I'm not saying that it's his fault for that 5-1 defeat. Obviously he's got a back 4 in front of him.
Well, they had a back 5 there, didn't they?
Yeah. And
so if you're the one argument that I had with somebody was, he was criticised for not coming out for a cross, which is fine. I appreciate that. Yeah, he could have come off his line for that cross. Take the wing backs out of that. You've 3 very big, very solid, very commanding centre backs in that first half. Not one of them made an attempt for that ball.
No.
What came in? Why did not one of them get any criticism whatsoever?
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, Ben Mee's another one. He's He wasn't solid. People saying take Ben Mee out the side. A lot of people saying that, especially on the page. Take Tarky out, take Ben Mee out. I mean, okay, Gibson's injured, but are you going to play Kevin Langley's on? I mean, yeah, okay, players are going to have bad games. We know that. But like you say, bring it back to that first goal. 2 minutes in. Well, we're at 2 minutes, something like that.
2-3 minutes, yeah.
Balls come in. The thing is, even when you watch it back, you see. You see Rick Bardsley or Lawton at right back? I'm not sure where, but ball comes in, and all you see is Hart rooted to his line and literally watching the cross come over, and then watch it going back at net. Now, for me, yeah, could have come off his line or give his defenders a shout. But on the other hand, Everton have such a height advantage.
They've got some big, strong lads.
Really big players in there.
And the really annoying thing, what did it most for me, were you look at the 3 big defenders they played. They had Yerry Mina, Kurt Zouma, and Michael Keane. The latter of which was made into the £30 million defender that he is by Sean Dyche, trained day in, day out to stand at the back, nutting long balls away.
Yeah.
That's what he was trained to do. So why the hell for 90 minutes did we stand at the back pumping long balls forward aimlessly? We were never challenging. The strikers were too close together. There was no support from a very, very narrow, very deep 3-man midfield. Oh, we did lump balls to 3 defenders, who 2 of which built like brick outhouses. And like I said, Michael Keane, who spent years here being trained by Dyche, stand there heading balls away.
Well, I mean, 2 of the Everton goals were top class. I mean, the free kick. The free kick were amazing.
You don't get any of that.
And then Digne's, it was second, weren't it?
That strike. Which people were saying, oh, well, Joe Hart should have got to that. No,
Nah.
It's bottom corner, inside of the side netting.
Yeah.
Just don't save them.
It's not just that, but you've got to look at it from his point of view as well. I mean, is he blocked? Is his view blocked?
There was about
restricted?
6 players stood in front of him.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's a tough one. Yeah.
What gets me?
I am in both camps with Joe Hart. Sometimes he deserves the flack in aspect of, okay, people are saying he's not commanding his defence or anything else, which in a way you can see the difference with Heaton in the side.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you can see the confidence that the defenders have in the goalkeeper. Now, people can say that's coincidence or that's just Heaton or Joe Hart's sort of man management, but I don't know. I mean,
What worries me more is I know there's always a lot of rumours with Burnley fans who, sort of, I've got inside information from the club and, not that defenders want to like play with Hart because he's turned up like Billy Big Balls and all the rest of it.
Oh, there's all sorts, isn't there?
The fact of the matter is, regardless, for me, whoever's playing behind you, there's 10 players outfield who are paid handsomely to do a job.
Yeah.
Out of these games we've talked about, there's probably 8 of them fixtures that we'd look and say, defender at fault there, defender at fault there, defender at fault there, defender at fault there. Yet they get very little criticism because there's more than one defender. There's one goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And I think it's been very easy to put the blame on Joe Hart just because it's Joe Hart and he's had a couple of difficult years.
Every club, you can see with the Leeds fiasco recently in the press, every club does analysis. So they're going to know. They're going to pull in them defenders and say, look, that's what you did wrong. That's what you did wrong.
But, like I said, I think some fans, and I'm sure I'm probably going to get some stick for saying this, but some fans, they're like a scapegoat. There's always been one for a few years. Ben Mee had it when he was at left back. Jeff Hendrick, he's another one who's had it. There's always one year in year out who gets it.
I love the tweet you put out when you said about the team lineup and now Jeff on the right, and you're like, I hope he proves people wrong. And you know what? Today, he's been given that first goal
Quite right.
from obviously our recent result.
Yeah, I've always sort of in some weird way quite rated Jeff Hendrick, and I think that's probably come more from other fans' dislike of him.
Yeah.
I think the more that some Burnley fans dislike a player, the more I'll probably take a little bit of a shine, thinking, well, if he rocks up and plays in the manner that he did in the most recent fixture, then you've got a cracking player. But again, Burnley fans just like pointing the finger at somebody to blame. They just like someone who cops the flag. And there's a lot more players. I mean, for me, I still think it. I've said it from the European games. I've said it from early Premier League games. Tarkowski has had a tough season. He's had yeah. They've been largely average at best. I can guarantee. I had a rant against Fulham, which we'll touch upon in a minute. Every game, at least once, Tarkowski will launch it from the back, try to switch play, but he puts about a ton too much weight on it, and there's at least one every game that ends up it stands. It's like, surely there's got to be more to the game. If we as fans can see what these players are doing, opposition are going to suss us out easy enough. It's like to mix it up a bit. But yeah, as you say, Jack Cork, another one who's been average at times. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's been games where he's stood out and he's really looked like the Jack Cork of old, but it's taken him a hell of a long while to get going.
Of course it has.
I mean, moving on from the the shambles of Boxing Day, because that made me cry for about 48 hours.
Yeah, just a bit.
You started to look at that West Ham game, and having gone to the reverse fixture away from home, I thought, Arnautovic's going to have a pegging field day if he plays now. He had a bit
Anderson were in form as well. Felipe Anderson, he's been in some sublime form.
Again, nothing against West Ham, but he looks a top 6 player.
Yeah.
I can't see him hanging about at West Ham longer. That's nothing against West Ham because they've got some cracking players, but
on the day of that game at Turf, like I say, Heaton started over Hart because Dash came out and said, look, he had to look at it. It's the only position he hasn't changed.
I think he had to, and I don't think a lot of that was much down to the fact that he felt he had to as manager. I think he felt he had to because of the crowd had demanded it. There were so many people that Everton game chanting Heaton's name. I don't think you can afford to upset your fans more by ignoring such a shout like that, and I think you had to try something. And I dare say, had we have lost that West Ham game, would Tom Heaton have got any criticism? I don't think he would. I think all the blame would then have been switched onto a defender or somebody else, because it can never be like Heaton's fault. And like I say, I've nothing against Tom Heaton because he comes across as a superb guy. You can see
a lot
his
for
passion.
the town, not alone just the.
You can see his passion on the pitch. And he always interviews well. You can see how much this place means to him. But I think some players, for as much as there are players out there in this team what seem to quite easily get the criticism, there's also quite a few players what also seem to be able to avoid any criticism, which can be quite difficult to take. But anyway, West Ham at home was completely unexpected. 2-0 win.
Yeah.
Incredible turnaround from Boxing Day.
The thing is, look at the season we got promoted. Was it Boxing Day? We lost. and then we went on a 23-game unbeaten run.
Yeah, you know, it were Hull away. We got
I mean-
absolutely tonk 3-0.
I mean, we're looking now at our sheet of paper and looking at the results we've got written down, and
It's the makings of something.
we're undefeated at the moment,
Um,
and we lost on Boxing Day.
You know-
History repeating itself.
The one thing that I'd said, I think it was after the Fulham game, if you look over the course of the calendar year of 2018, very, very average to poor season. The back end of what was such a successful season last year on a whole, which, you know, qualifying for Europe, there's nobody in the wildest dreams would have ever thought we'd actually genuinely do it.
No.
But we went for about a third of the season without actually winning a game, you know. Or certainly the equivalent of. So who's to say that, you know, we can't have a bad first half of the season, then really hit the ground running. You know, you sort of start to look, West Ham, you know, they went to Huddersfield, you know, the Barnsley Cup game, the Fulham win. It doesn't matter who's in front of you. If you're going to win a game, you've still got to beat who's in front of you. So
Of course you have.
you know, so 4 straight wins in all competitions, and looking a little bit back to us as usual self. You know, the whole solid, hard
Bit of
working.
swagger, but I mean, we've got to give credit to Dwight McNeil as well.
Oh yeah,
Shoved in at the deep end really,
yeah.
and he's
I think
probably.
he's shown that there's no fear, which is
Yeah.
a big thing.
But he's another player that feels like Heaton probably did. Felt like he had a point to prove. I mean, especially not a point to prove as such, but as a young player, he's going to want to showcase what he can do to put himself in and about that first team.
And quite rightly, I mean, I think, you know, was it the Olympiacos game he played?
Yeah, he did.
I tell you something, he looked talent there. You know, there was one incident where I think he had like a shot from about 25-30 yards and forced keeper into a bit of a diving save, and you think, this boy looks like he's got a bit of something about him. Then, you know, he was in and out of the side, which, you know, I could understand. Dyche wants to play the more experienced players, you know, the Goodmansons and Lennons and Bradys and what have you when they were back fit. But I'll tell you something, you know, credit to the lad, he's, you know, taking it all in his stride. I think the thing we've got to be careful of doing is not to burn him out. You know, we've seen plenty of young players, not just for us, but young players, they come on, you know, they burst onto the scene, they play 30 games a season, and all of a sudden they spend it all summer with their feet up because they got an hamstring injury, because they played too many games,
Yeah.
they've relied too much on them. I don't think we want to have to rely on him to create a bit of magic to keep us up.
Yeah.
I want him to contribute, absolutely. If you're a first team member of this squad, then yeah, we all want
He
everybody
does
to
remind me of a
contribute.
left-sided kind of Wade Elliott type player.
Yeah, you know,
Doesn't care
down,
about
direct, have
yeah.
a go.
Tries to just drive down that left-hand side.
and it is probably since Wade Elliott came here that we've missed somebody.
We have
like
missed somebody like that.
He's not frightened either. He doesn't seem frightened to make a mistake because it's at his age. It's all a learning thing.
Yeah.
Going to be a very big comparison, and it's certainly not saying that he's ever going to be on the same scale. But it's almost like a young Ryan Giggs. There's no fear. You know, I mean, probably a lot of it is because, you know, he's young lad, left-footed and very direct. But it's exactly what we need. Someone who thinks, you know what, give me the ball. I'll turn game. You know, I'll turn game from defending to attacking because I'll just get ball and run with it. You know, sometimes, you know, it's been a case of, oh, we're defending, lump it. So everybody's then got to move out.
His crossing as well has been
His crossing's
phenomenal.
superb.
He knows where he knows where you are. If you're sniffing around that front post, he'll play it in low.
Yeah.
Look, I mean,
I think, like I say,
that's what I mean.
the variation.
Let's move on from the West Ham game. Huddersfield away. Look at that. Look at the first. Well, obviously, our first goal.
Yeah, superb bowling. But as well, equally, credit where it's due, because this season I think he has struggled a bit more. Superb movement from Chris Wood to actually think, you know what, I don't want to be flat on my feet, I'm on my toes, move to the front post, get at end of that cross, which were a brilliant ball in, and just nick it ahead of the defender. And you think, that for me, West Ham aside, yeah, West Ham was a turning point. I think Huddersfield were the one where it just seemed to click.
Did McNeil score against West Ham?
You know, I can't remember, it's been that long since we've done the last one. I think he may well have done, but
I think he did. He got the second, didn't he? Sliding in at the back post.
he did, yes. So, you know, like Huddersfield game, I think, you know, he got, what, about 50, 55 minutes. And I was actually quite surprised and in some ways a little bit shocked to see him come off, because he came off for Brady, who later got himself sent off, which has probably done Matt Neal a bit of a favour there. But I think Dash has got to manage him correctly. I don't think we want to see him burn out, and by the time he's sort of 22, he's picking up niggles regularly because he's been burnt out, or we've overworked him and over relied on him. But what an absolutely superb talent! Like I say, for someone who's so young, it's nice to see a player not have any fear and just say, you know what, give me the ball. If I make a mistake, I make a mistake. But I'm going to be able to turn your defence into attack. I think so Huddersfield, like you said, generally speaking, it was dogged kind of game.
Yeah, I mean, we had to come from 1-0 down. I mean, fair enough. Yeah, the sending off helped. The sending off massively helped, but
you still got to do it.
Yeah, of course you have. There was a stat as well, I think, something to do with it's the first time Sean Dash has come from behind away from home in a Premier League game or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I was watching the game and you sort of think, right, they've gone down to 10.
This is our time. This is it. Crank it up.
I didn't. I felt like it was the opportunity, but they were just going to stick 10 men behind the ball. They took midfielder off, stuck another defender on. You think, they're going to sit back on this.
Well,
now.
I mean, I thought we'd crank it up, throw everything at them, but like listening to the interviews after the game, and they said, Dash pulled him in at half time and said, look, be patient. It'll come, wasn't it? It will come. He'll tire. And then that last 10 minutes, throw everything at it. And you know what? What a well worked goal by Barnes.
Brilliant.
Well, and the rest of the team in the build up.
Yeah. Again, I've always liked Barnes. Even going back to Dash's first promotion, I think if there was anybody who deserved a goal to send us up like that, was Barnes. And the one that he scored against Wigan to take us up, you could see what it meant to him.
Yeah.
And I think every goal he scored since then looks like it means the absolute world to him, and it's brilliant. I absolutely love the bloke. I think on that note, we will give a shout out to Damo, who absolutely can't stand Ashley Barnes, or so he claimed, and now absolutely loves him. So,
Matt Barnes to Damo.
Yeah, but I think he epitomises what the whole side's about. Just the battle in him. He's such a fighter. He puts himself about, and it's strange to think that. I was reading a thread what somebody had shared on Twitter, and it was a Brighton fans forum, sort of similar to like an Up the Clarets type message board thing, and they were talking about Ashley Barnes when he was there, and said that he was described him as being too slight and doesn't get stuck in enough. So clearly, yeah. If I can find it, I will share it again. But yeah, they genuinely thought that he didn't put himself about enough, he didn't get stuck in, he didn't show enough sort of fight. And I thought, well, clearly you didn't play him in the right way, because we've got an absolute animal on his hands,
Yeah.
And yeah, as you say, the goal at Huddersfield, so well taken. But when you're struggling at that bottom end, chances like that can prove really, really difficult to take away. But he's just so composed. I think you saw as well that night what it meant to all the Burnley players. They were all round. Credit especially for me to Westwood.
He's been phenomenal, hasn't he?
He's been superb.
Key player in that midfield.
I think as well. I think for me, it's a tough one, but he's got to be up there as Westwood for me for being a contender for player of the season so far.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
His work rate is phenomenal. He's just come on so much. I mean, I rated him when we signed him.
See, I didn't.
I liked him.
I didn't. I
saw a few games at Villa.
I thought, what a sideways signing, and I know that sounds stupid, but I really did. I didn't rate him, and I thought, why have we signed this guy for? But you know what? I'll eat me up. Seriously, he's come on leaps and bounds, like you said, and he's turned into one of the key players in our squad this season.
I think for me, he's got to be, certainly at the minute, he's got to be one of the first names on team sheet.
Yeah,
I think he really has.
Yeah.
I don't think at the minute that midfield will work without a Westwood in it, and I'd rather have a Westwood in it than a Cork on the way Cork's played this season.
Yeah.
But again, like I say, Huddersfield was a top performance, and it meant something to absolutely every single one of them players on that
Like
pitch.
you say though, as well, from the West Ham game and the Huddersfield game, the fact that we've, looking back at the other results, played with one up top pretty much in Chris Wood. okay, there were the odd game where we went wooden barns, but it didn't work out because of I don't know what was going on. But all of a sudden they've seemed to
just clicked again.
Yeah. And then
certainly when you look at last season, Vokes could barely get a sniff, and I thought it was harsh on Vokes, but you couldn't have dropped either of Barnes or Wood last season the way they played. I mean, they both hit double figures. For me, they peaked, that West Ham game away last season and won 3-0. They looked absolutely superb, and then for some reason they've just hasn't worked this season for whatever reason up until recently. But so you think on the back of that shocker on Boxing Day, you've got 2 wins in 2 and 2 vital wins as well. Disturbed somewhat slightly by the cup game.
Yeah, I was going to say
it wasn't a great performance.
No,
it was
not in the slightest.
If you were struggling with sleep, I think you'd be watching that on a quick loop. I don't think you'd have to watch too many replays of that to knock you out. Couple of interesting decisions with the VAR, as we've already touched upon.
Definitely.
It's going to cause a bit of a debate, isn't it, next season when it comes in properly? And I think until you properly iron it out, there's always going to be a bit of a kink in the system, so to speak. But I'd rather us have it than not. I don't think there was any debate with certainly the penalty that we got and Wood scored at the death. I don't think there was any doubt in that whatsoever.
No,
I don't think you need any replays for that. First one, marginal, but
but then yet again, I look at it and I think Vidra is onside, Vokes is offside.
Yeah,
but Vokes isn't interfering with play, really. I see the ball going through. I can understand why it's been looked back and said as though he's offside, because it's going off that.
There's a similar one what happened at the same time. It was a 12:30 kick-off, the United Reading game. There was an incident with VAR where Lukaku deemed he wasn't interfering with play, despite the fact he was sort of about 2 inches away from what was going on. So it's fine margins, isn't it? And I think there's got to be some common sense from referees.
Yeah, of course.
There's got to be a common sense element still sticking in the game.
Look how long it took for for that first penalty. He's awarded the penalty. Vidra's managed to pick up the ball, put it down on the spot. After this is all while Barnsley's trying to say to the ref, it's not a pen, it's not a pen. And then in that process, he's about ref's blown his whistle for him to run up and take it.
Step,
literally just about to run up, and then blows his whistle again to stop, and tells the linesman that it's offside. And
I think as well, I don't want to criticise the ref too much because it's as new to them as it is to us.
Oh yeah, of course it is. They've got a big part to play in that.
I think during the summer, certainly the referees who are going to be regular, certainly for the Premier League, but certainly with the FA Cup games, if it's going to be some of the Championship or the Football League referees coming in to officiate games as they did with the Cup games like that, they need some proper training over the summer, and it needs to be like a full-on heavy course where they learn how to do it properly. If you've not had training on it, it's like goes for anyone. If you've not had training to do your job properly, then you're not going to know how to do it properly. You're just sort of making it up as you go along. And I think there was an element of that. I mean, I think he could have grabbed hold of the ball and said, "Look, we're checking it, just wait," kind of thing. But I think issues like this will iron out. The actual decision making when it came to having a look at it, I think it took about 90 seconds. I think it was the build up to that what had caused the issue, because like you say, it was players surrounding referees and referee umming and ahhing and sort of.
Then even Dash came out though, didn't he? And said it took me and my staff 4 seconds to even pick out the decision, and so it does need speeding up a bit. I mean, but we saw from if any of you watching Derby Southampton, I mean, it showed VAR, on screen anyway of what were going on, but there were no. That they were quick decisions anyway.
They were. I think the thing is as well, if it's a tighter call and the ref's got to have a look, I'd rather him take that a little bit longer if it means making the right decision.
Yeah.
What would they rather do? Would they rather say, I've looked at it 4 seconds, whatever, no penalty? Or would you rather him say, just give me a minute, I'm going to have a proper look, I'm going to look from different angles, I'm going to look on a different, I'm going to take a look myself, I'm going off my linesman's work.
Yeah.
So if it means getting the right decision, I'm all for it. If it slows it down by a minute or two, it's a minute or two added on to end it off. It's nothing new, is it?
No.
I think it's just the game moving on, and people will argue, certainly the older generation will say, well, we've never had to use it before, we've always managed all right. But there's always been one or two shocking incidents. What have happened, like the ghost goal, was it Watford a few years ago, which was about a foot and a half wide of the post. For incidents like that, absolutely use it for stuff like that. Yeah. Definitely. But I think there's still got, like I said, there's still got that common sense element to referees making a decision, unless it's something they absolutely definitely need to check.
Definitely. I mean, the game itself, absolute drab. I mean, it was difficult because before the game, heading to the ground, you're like, right, do we want this cup run? Because I'm not being funny, I'd rather us focus on trying to stay in the division. But then on the flip side of that, you've got, we need to keep momentum going here, which is another tough decision in itself. Yeah. But we got that result, and it's strange. People say Barnsley give us a game, but I don't think they did. I think we threw stuff at them. They didn't really have to cut anything out because there was nothing clear cut from us, and it was just mostly that
whatsoever.
It was just mostly that. It's like the olden days. People going towards a castle, people trying to defend it. They still got nowhere near the gates.
Yeah,
and it took Vidra being hacked down in the box before, to win the game.
But again, Vidra got a lot of criticism after that game, certainly on Twitter, and you think he's offered something a little bit different. He's different to Wood, different to Barnes, different to Vaux. He's smaller, he's pacier, he's a bit more direct in terms of his runs, but he won us 2 penalties.
Yeah.
Admittedly, yes, one wasn't given because of the VAR decision, but he won us 2 penalties. Everyone knows full well the situation about us not winning penalties for 63, 64 league games now. Vidra won us 2 in a game.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that wins you games, but if you then go and score them penalties, largely speaking,
big decisions, aren't they? Massive decisions.
Of course they are. And I think Vidra offers something else, but there's clearly something not right as to why Vidra can't get a look in the league at all.
To be fair though, when he's coming in the league, he does look a bit nervous on the ball.
I think he would be if you're only getting 10-15 minutes. So if you suddenly got to go on and make a name for yourself in 10-15 minutes, then you probably are going to think, if this is the only opportunity I'm going to get. I mean, we've seen it over the past couple of years. I mean, look at the likes of, what was he called? Was he a Belgian lad who we had in? No, what was he called? He scored at Cardiff in a 2-2 draw. He scored last minute, and you think, looks alright as this lad. Could get a look in it late. His name escapes me. It's going to drive me insane. Is that? I think we sold him to a German second division side or something like that. I really can't think of his name, and I hope somebody picks up and tells me on Twitter what his name was. But he was another one. Offered us something different to what we had. Just couldn't get a start. But whenever he came on, he seemed to do all right. I mean, whenever Vidra's started in the league this season, I mean, look at that Bournemouth game. Scored. There was another game where he's played, scored. For whatever reason, it just doesn't seem to have worked for him.
No, a lot of people say that it wasn't Dyche's decision to bring him in. He was panicked by last moment or whatever.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, there's only a handful of people who know the genuine tale with that signing, because I think a lot was made over the fact we wouldn't pay another couple of million quid for Rodriguez. But perhaps quite right, there was a bit of caution over not paying that extra couple of million for a somewhat injury prone over the last few years 29-year-old who's maybe best years are behind him. But I think I've said enough about Rodriguez on these past podcasts that we've done to judge my opinion on that one. But I probably feel slightly relieved that he's not been linked in January, because I don't think we'd certainly be looking at 25 million plus in January.
Yeah. If we'd have got him beginning of the season, fair enough.
It could have been 20 in the summer, didn't it?
But now his goal tally for West Brom this season is going to have at least added some sort of value.
Of course it is, and the fact that there's a premium in January, which everybody knows about.
Oh yeah, of course. It all started with that 12 million move for Ross McCormack. Don't forget it. Don't forget it.
Yeah, he had 2 12 million moves.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, a lot's been said about as to Vidra, whether any of it's true or not. It's all speculation, but
he won us 2 penalties, and we won, and we're through to the cup, through to the 4th round. And we'll talk about that shortly. Back to the Premier League and Fulham at home. Another tough fixture, really. Another team needing points.
Yeah, and I think with Ranieri having looked like he'd come in, certainly the first 2 games, and looked like he'd shored the defence up a little bit. You think, that Fulham game is going to be vital, which it still was. But But I think after his first couple of games there, the rot soon set back in again, and they didn't seem to have changed the ways whatsoever, didn't Fulham?
No. Good first goal though. Absolutely brilliant first goal for Fulham.
Yeah. That's one of them that surely hits that another
Same
99
again.
times.
Same again, like it were against Spurs though.
Yeah.
Ball over the top.
It were.
And there we were. And
It was.
It's just that it happened to fall to Schürrle, and
he's a world-class talent. World-class talent.
Of course he is.
It was very reminiscent for me of Vardy's goal the season Leicester won the Premier League against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Ball lumped down the right wing, over the top. Looked, I mean, admittedly Vardy smashed it first time, but the touch from Schürrle, that touch, generally speaking,
to
goes
pick
wrong.
it down as it's coming over your shoulder.
Over your top, and to hold it on your toe end like that was phenomenal. But I said at the game, I said he hits that another 99 times, and 99 times it's hit Jimmy Mack's hand. It was just that one where it's looped over Heaton, hit the bar, dropped in, absolute worldie goal. But it's that old sort of feeling that we've seen so many times of have they scored too early, and you always felt like we were going to get back into it.
Yeah, well that's where Fulham themselves went from jumping around dilly to Fulham defenders silly.
Yeah,
and Jeff Hendrick.
See what he did there.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? Jeff Hendrick though. I mean, you said we've already stated. You put out the retweeted the team sheet, and you said
it started. What's Hendrick playing for? Well, I'm not
why
sure.
Why is he out top right? Why are we not putting somebody else out there?
But who? Kevin Long, maybe?
Would you push a right back out there?
I know they pushed Charlie Taylor forward, but Charlie Taylor...
Yeah, I mean, he played left wing against Barnsley, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's played there before, earlier on in his career. So that wasn't a surprise that he was there. What got me was, though, the level of criticism for somebody who... For me, I don't think he deserved it. There's been games where he's been average, but I'll tell you something, there's been a lot of Burnley players this season who've played a lot worse than what Jeff Hendrick showed.
Yeah,
any grief.
Well, the Fulham game, just look at what Jeff Hendrick showed.
Yeah, he was absolutely superb. I mean,
I'm surprised he didn't celebrate, giving it the shush.
Yeah, and I think he absolutely... I'm glad you pointed that in, because, gesturing that to me, I don't think that would have got across on the podcast there.
No, I don't think he would.
But
gesturing what?
Yeah, gesturing that with your finger to your lips. I think he was instrumental, certainly that first half. You look at the way that he played, he was energetic, he was lively, he was down the right, down the middle, he was on the left side of midfield, he was absolutely everywhere. But he was another one who, like when Heaton came in, asked to do a job, again, out of position, just reminding that to people, how many times he's been played out of position. He's not a false number 10, he's not a right midfielder. No. He's a centre midfielder.
Dash even said we've done a lot.
Yeah.
Since bringing him in, we have asked a lot of Jeff Hendrick, and he's even said he gets a lot of flack.
Yeah. And I genuinely do think it's over the top and it's unjustified.
Exactly.
Like I said, there's been plenty of players who deserve much more criticism from fans who have the blinkers on, because there's people in this squad that they feel are above criticism. Like I say, I think Hendrick was superb, absolutely superb against Fulham. He's quite rightly, as we touched on earlier, he's been given that goal, which he absolutely should have been. It was clearly on target.
I'm glad he's been given that. I'm definitely glad he's been given that. Of course he does
deserve it.
Especially on that result.
But the second one, he's like, it was an own goal. Well, yeah, but he's still got to get into that position. He's still got to, he's got to turn it round and, sort of get his body back in position to put the ball back across.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you say, it was well worked. He's gone out to the far side, and he's just swiveled and ought to, just float it in. But unfortunately for Adoy, I think it were. I mean, it's clattered him in head, and he's gone back at net again. So 2 own goals, okay, fair enough. Yeah, we've broken another record. That's obviously we've won a game with 0 shots on target, which now changed to obviously 1.
Yeah, I think a lot of that for me was match of the day, enjoying themselves. Because look at little old Burnley, he'd had a shot on target. It's like everybody inside that ground knew, genuinely, that shot was on target. It's like, don't come that, don't make us out to look rubbish. I was going to come out with some colourful language, and then I realised we've got some younger listeners. So, but yeah, I think it's like Gary Lineker. Jucky idiot. He just loves having a dig at clubs like ours, because Burnley had a shot on target and they've won a game. I want attractive, doesn't fit my agenda. It's like, no, bore off, Gary. You know, it was a shot on target, and you know, I tell you something. I don't care if we don't have another shot on target for the rest of the season. If we win every game 2-1 and don't have another shot for the rest of the season, I don't care if we're winning games.
No, not
a
at
win,
all.
a win's a win, and I don't care how ugly it is, because if you win all your games, you win league.
That's what I mean. We
I'm not
don't
suggesting we're gonna
play
do
attractive football, or do we? Look, you look at the stats at every single game. We have about 30% possession.
But we're doing that.
Yeah, and we grind out results.
Yeah.
You know, be it a 1-0 or whatever.
And that's how Dash has built this team.
Of course it is. That's what we've been built on. But we've got the results, we've got the points.
I tell you something, there's been games where we've had possession and looked terrible.
Yeah.
West Brom away,
Lost.
Alan Irving's first game, and they tonked us 4-0. I think we had about 60% possession that night, and we just didn't know what to do here.
No.
We're not a team built for having the ball, because we sort of think, what happens next?
Well, that's another thing. Like I say, I think I mentioned it on another podcast when we got beat against Lincoln. They said that they knew full well Burnley didn't like playing with the ball.
Yeah.
So they knew full well, sit off them, let them play.
Yeah.
Let them play. And you know what? They won, obviously. But like I say,
I don't like talking about that game, so don't ever bring it up again.
But, yeah. And that's...
Or I'll sack you from these podcasts, and I don't care. I don't care if you're joint runner of this site. I will sack you.
So, we get the 2-1 win, and another vital 3 points. Took us firmly out of the relegation zone and up to 15th.
Yeah, I think the thing is as well, at the minute, I don't think these...
I don't think we're out of it.
No, we're not out of it, but it's not even so much the position difference that matters as much. There's little black point differences what start to open up.
Yeah.
Huddersfield, I think, what are they on? 11 points now? I think they've got the point against Cardiff, so I think they're on 11. Fulham on 14, and there's a gap to whoever is it, Southampton? Cardiff?
Like
whoever it is, I've lost track, but they're bottom, 3
don't
on
look that
18.
far down now.
Nah, well, looking upwards. European tour imminent again. But yeah, it's 11 points at the bottom, 14 points for Fulham, 18 points. We're up to what is it, 21 now? So you start to think it's just little point gaps start to open up a little bit, and you think, well, if we can just keep chipping away, I don't think it's going to be a big points tally what keeps teams up this season. I've said for a little while now, I think it'll only be 34, 35, 36.
That's what I mean. It could have easily run away from us. I mean, look at when we were. I think it was only 3 weeks back. You get Cardiff getting a late winner. You had all the teams around us picking up wins. Yeah,
picking up points.
And I don't think we were playing till the night. Did we play West Ham on the Sunday?
Yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had to wait.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, crap. If we don't win this, we're going to get left behind here.
I think the good thing were though, I think these teams like your Fulhams, your Southamptons, your Cardiffs, picking up the points at the time that they did while we weren't picking points up, they haven't moved away from us.
No.
We've managed to keep us next, just there or thereabouts above water, albeit we might have dropped down to second bottom and start to panic a little bit. But I think now that we're starting to put a bit of a run together, none of them teams have ever managed to string more than about 2 results at most together to really take themselves away. I think Newcastle's probably the only one who've really sort of pulled out of it, but they're not out of the woods.
No, they ain't. I mean,
there's some vital games coming up.
Yeah, we have got some vital games coming up.
At the time of recording, obviously we're heading to Watford tomorrow. Tough place, but Watford are always quite indifferent. You never know which Watford's going to turn up.
No. See, I've only ever been down to Watford once, and it was the time when Jeff Hendrick got
sent off for 6 minutes.
Yeah, literally, I'd just finished my beer, got up into the stand, and I've just seen this red card being dished out at the referee's pocket, and I'm like, what? What is going on?
Point would be a great result there for me tomorrow.
Yeah. We've even predicted 1-1. Gone for that.
Yeah. I think any sort of draw there, anything more than that's a big bonus going to a place like that. But after that, free hit with City in the cup. Even if they play their second team, you look at the second team they put out against Rotherham. God Almighty, it's just a team of first teamers. It's a second team.
Yeah.
They had likes of Walker playing, and you look around and you think that's your second team. Just absolutely no chance. if you pull a shock off there, I'll tell you something. I'll say it now. If we beat City in Cup, we're going to the final.
You reckon?
Yeah. If you beat City, a team who at the minute, they've had a bit of a blip, and then they've gone to beat, what, how many did they put past Rotherham with? 7? 7 past Rotherham, 9 past Burton.
Yeah.
If you can beat City, whatever team they put out, I'll say it now, I think we'll be at final. Because I don't think they're going to come up against many better teams than them. So anyway, that's my big call out the way.
Yeah, that's a very big call, very big statement,
Wembley's
isn't it?
calling. United on Tuesday, again, somewhat of a bit of a free hit again, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, they've hit form at the right time, haven't they?
6 wins in 6.
Solskjaer's doing alright.
Strange one with Solskjaer, because you look at the record that he had at Cardiff,
Yeah.
it wasn't great. I think there's a bit of romance there with Solskjaer going back and what the club and the fans think of him. I think with him, novelty could wear off just as easily as it's caught on again.
See, I don't. I kind of think that he's picked things up from that Fergie era. The Giggs came out and said something about he was always asking coaching staff, and he always had that little bit behind him of what he wanted to do, and you can see that it's working.
I think the thing is,
He's got that kind of Fergie-esque about him. Okay, he's not going to chuck a boot at you or.
He doesn't want to get angry enough to be like Fergie, does he? But you don't know what goes on in the dressing room. But
no.
I always said when Fergie left, the only person at that time who could follow Fergie was Mourinho, and I always said that.
Oh yeah.
I think whoever followed Fergie rose onto a hiding.
Yeah.
Because how do you follow the best manager of our time? You know what I mean? He's up there with the best of the best.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was strange when they brought in David Moyes, because they've gone from a manager like Fergie who's had that freedom to spend to David Moyes who's been on a purse string budget with Everton. Shall we say?
Yeah, they didn't spend tons up until like this Mashiri chap's come in, but it was a weird one with Moyes.
Yeah,
a manager who
good manager though at the time.
A good club manager for the right club.
Yeah,
a bit in some ways like an Eddie Howe. Did alright at Burnley, but never looked settled. Went back to Bournemouth, done well, and credit to him. Yeah, we've got a billionaire Russian owner.
Yeah.
So yeah, they should have done well.
They've still stuck with some quite a few bulk of their players that they've had.
Some heavy investment, though, ain't there?
Yeah.
Heavy investment.
I mean, you can just see in the January market what they've done.
Yeah.
I mean, Klein on loan, Solanke on loan.
19 million for Solanke.
Oh yes, not on loan. Sorry.
They've spent a lot of money on some good players. They've got some cracking players there, and that Brooks looks great at Bournemouth. But Eddie Howe fits Bournemouth. David Moyes seemed to fit Everton. Whenever Moyes has gone since, hasn't worked. But Van Gaal went in, did all right at United. Just all right. Mourinho went in. Whatever you say about Mourinho, he wins trophies.
Yeah.
He's won Europa League and League Cup and this, that, and other. He won them trophies, but the fact of the matter is, while he was busy winning what some clubs look at as the second-rate trophies, so to speak, other clubs around him were getting better and better and better. Look at what Guardiola's done at City. He's turned some good players into extremely good players.
Yeah.
Look at what Klopp's done at Liverpool. Yeah, they've spent billions, over the Premier League era. But something's just clicked with them this season. So as them two clubs are growing, the likes of, Spurs have kind of played catch up a little bit, and yeah, they sat third, is it? And yeah, they've had a good season. Going to be interesting for them now. Kane's injured till March.
Yeah.
Son's off to Asian Cup or whatever he's going out for. It'll be interesting to see how they survive. Talk of Spurs going in for that Giuseppe Rossi on a short-term deal.
He's free on a free at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been training with United.
Yeah, they said he's done alright as well. Funnily enough.
So going slightly off topic here, but as all these other clubs get better, United, Arsenal, sort of gone a bit stale really. And I think if you're Man United or Arsenal, is your challenge really to break into that top 4? Is that what your season's about? Certainly not for United. I mean, Arsenal. Yeah, I think for Arsenal. I think claiming a penalty or getting a dodgy decision against Burnley, that's your achievement for the season.
I still think Arsenal are in a transition as well under Unai Emery as well.
He seems to be doing all right, but they always look like there's going to be somewhere a bit flimsy in the team somewhere. And I don't think that defence is still quite right. I don't think that Leno's the goalkeeping answer.
No.
With Czech retiring as well, so I think they're maybe going to have to have a look at a goalkeeping position. But whether they sort the defence out and that Leno might look a good keeper, but so you think with United, what's their target now? Solskjaer's come in and got 6 wins in 6, moved them from 6th to 6th. Is their target to break into the top 4? Is that their aim? Which, in some ways, for a club like United, who over the course of the last 25-30 years have won all there is to win.
Or is Solskjaer taking a dash approach, one game at a time?
I think there's got to be a bit of that. I bet back of his mind though, there's got to be a longer term thing. If he does well, let's just say I don't know how many games are left. There's about sort of 16 games roughly left, something like that. If he was to win, let's say he's won 6, let's say he wins, I don't know, another 8 out of them, and they creep into the top 4. I don't think you can give that job to anybody else.
No.
It's like Letizia was saying before Mourinho got sacked, if United get into the top 4, Mourinho deserves a knighthood because of how far behind they were.
Yeah.
If Solskjaer gets them into the top 4, he deserves that job. And whether it works out for him or not, who knows? But I don't think.
Is he still manager of Molde?
Molde, yeah. Apparently he's like on loan, so to speak, and a manager on loan.
Wow.
Could have had Brian Laws.
So we'll go from the United game away. To
Southampton at home's a big game. That is a big game.
That is. I mean, obviously they've just been knocked out the cup off by Derby.
Which might just benefit them.
Yeah. You reckon?
Less games to worry about. They're not going to have an extra game in the cup to worry about as we do against City.
I think if the fact that they had tired legs in that game, if they'd have got through, it would have probably been more beneficial to us because they'd have had a lot more, hard work to do.
I think the 1 or 2 players at Southampton's looked on the last legs against Derby. Certainly watching that, it looked like it took a lot out of them.
Oh yeah.
The worry for me is returning familiar faces in Ings and Austin.
Yeah.
I know they've come in before, and I must admit, whenever Austin's been back here, he's always been kept quiet.
Yeah, he has.
Came in with QPR and he was kept quiet. Came in with Southampton again. Little impact. Ings is the worry though.
Yeah. He had it at Burnley, just that peeling away from the last defender.
Yeah.
Now if he gets the turn on Ben Mee or Tarkowski, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
But
you hope that me and Tarkowski know we play. They defended against him in training day in day out for a good few years.
Yeah.
You just hope they put that knowledge to good use. But we'll see. I mean, with the way that it's going, Charlie Austin might be flicking V's at other fans before then and get himself another ban, and Ings has probably got about another 3 injuries in these next few games by the time we play Southampton.
Well, yeah.
So you just never know. But that was it called Hasenhüttl.
Yeah.
He's got in and he seemed to do all right at first, didn't he? But there's a funny rot at Southampton, and you just sort of think, they've. Claude Puel for me were hard done to there.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that.
Final of a cup one year, they got to a semi-final of another one, and an 8th place finish in Premier League. Yeah, they said he played boring football. Well, sorry, if you played boring football, finish 8th and get to
we played boring football sometimes.
Yeah, try being a Burnley fan. But if that's your idea of boring football and finishing top 8 and in the top 2 and in like the final 2 or the final 4 of your major trophies.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
No.
So that you're not a club who's ever going to challenge for titles, or the fact that you got close with, was it the FA Cup when they were beating United and United turned it round, or was it the League Cup? Whichever it was, it escapes me. But you think if that's your idea of not being successful, then I'm sorry, but you're a club who for most of the early to mid 90s through Premier League era, you were lucky if Matt Letizia kept you up at last day of the season. So come on, bit of perspective, If we were finishing 8th and getting to the semis or final of a cup, we'd be overjoyed.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's a strange one with Southampton. I think the fans have just got to be careful what they wish for.
Yeah, I think the fact we're on home soil though should give us an advantage.
Yeah, again, so you look at the performances with the Huddersfield and the Fulham game. I think if you take that attitude into that game, I think we should be.
Yeah.
Should be all right. But you beat Southampton. For me, I think if you get a point against Watford and beat Southampton, out of those sort of Watford, United, Southampton league games, 4 points for me. There's a fantastic return out of them 3 games.
Of course it is. Definitely.
2 points wouldn't be the end of the world.
No.
Maybe sort of 2 or 3 points wouldn't be the end of the world. It's all about getting points on the board at this stage of the season.
Of course it is.
That's the main thing.
It's business end, isn't it?
Yeah. Although Dash came out and said the business end of the season's from the first game, which he has got a point.
Yeah, sadly.
Sadly, the players didn't turn up with the same attitude from start of the season, did they? But anyway, that's another story. And then we follow Southampton with a trip to Brighton, which obviously 4 of the cricket field end lads are taking in. We're heading down there, so if there's any of you down there and you want to come and hop onto some of the live videos and what have you, and live chats, we'll get people involved and see you down there. So, but if there's any Burnley fans stopping the night in Brighton, do let us know. We'll catch up. We were stopping overnight in a hotel, so we'll have a drink with any fellow Burnley fans who are stopping over the night down on the south coast and enjoy the frivolities that Brighton has to offer.
Aye. So we've got that coming up, as you say. A lot to look forward to. Tough games. Some games for teams around us.
Yeah, a couple of free hits, with the City Cup game, the United on the following Tuesday. I think them 2 games are going to be a stretch on our squad, personally, certainly in quick succession. So I do suspect Dash will probably mix it up for that City Cup game, perhaps. It's not to lose, is there?
No.
You go into that, this is meant in the nicest possible way. You go there expecting a hiding, whoever you are.
Yeah, of course you do.
They put 6 past Southampton in Premier League this season, so I don't want to sound awful. What does it matter?
5 past us.
What does it matter? They score goals for fun, so it's a free hit for me. And I genuinely stand by what I said. If we win that, we're off. I'm getting my yellow ribbon and my flat cap out.
Don't worry, there will be a quote and picture and everything. Just look out on Twitter. That's coming as that.
I'll tell you something. I'll say it now. If we beat them and we get to Wembley, my backside will be in Burton's window. But anyway, there's a bet. So
Burton fans will be annoyed.
Yeah. So yeah, like I say, Watford, City, United, Southampton, Brighton, next 5. So we'll probably be touching base again after the Brighton game, and we'll not leave it quite as long next time, and hopefully that technology will favour of us, and we'll be able to get this one uploaded ASAP.
So there you have it, October to January, summed up in an hour.
Hey, it's not bad, that, is it? That's some condensing, is that? Quite that. Job done.
Hey.
But yeah, if you've stuck with us, thanks for doing so. We have had a couple of requests from fans of fellow pages, so going to be getting a couple of guest appearances on board for the upcoming podcast, so do watch out for them. We're also being interviewed by a young Burnley fan as well as part of his uni course coming up at the start of February, so we'll be sharing that to help his course there, so do watch out for that, and thank you again for listening.
Yeah, thank you.